We are 3/4 of the way through the 2019 NFL season. The Packers are at 9-3 and looking to finish the season tough. That's the topic for tonight, so stick around. This video is brought to you by Packer Fan Cave. Everything you need to turn your man cave into a Packer fan cave. You can check them out at packerfancave.net. There is a link in the description below this video. So the Packers started out 9-3. We're coming off a win against not exactly the toughest team in the Washington Redskins there. And here to discuss this with me is my good friend and lifelong Packer fan, Mark Padriana. Mark, thanks for being here again.
Thanks for having me. 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, man, and looking tough. You know, they're 9-3 right now, and I don't see any reason, why we can't assume they could end 13-3 or 12-4 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you got the rest of the division coming up. 3 out of the last 4 games. You've got the, as you mentioned, Washington come up this weekend, coming off a victory against on the road in the snow against the Giants, and this is now coming home. This is a game that we should win, so we should definitely get to 10-3. And then you never know with those division games. We just watched the Bears finish up tonight. They've won 3 out of 4. They're kind of right there in it, and the Vikings are right on our heels, and we have both those teams coming up, so it should be an interesting finish. But like we talked about earlier, I love where we're sitting right now.
Yeah, me too. And I think I screwed that up earlier. I think I said we just beat the Washington Redskins. I think, I'm already looking past
It's going to
them
happen.
at this point.
Yeah, it better happen.
Yeah, it's okay for me to look past them as long as the team doesn't.
No.
You're right. But you're right. Coming off the win against the Giants there, that was, I was a little, curious to see how they were going to bounce back after the ridiculous loss to the 49ers. I was not expecting to lose that bad. I mean, I had confidence. I thought we had a chance of winning that game until the game started.
Mm-hmm.
And once they started playing, the 49ers just had the defensive scheme down to where the Packers just couldn't seem to move the ball. They couldn't really do anything. That was a tough one to watch. Obviously I don't think you were expecting that any more than I was.
No, I would say that's probably, at 9-3 they've lost 3 games, but that's probably the only disappointment I've had all season in them.
Yeah.
The other games that they lost, I think the Philadelphia game, they killed themselves. They didn't play. It wasn't where they couldn't move the ball. They couldn't do anything. They fumbled on the other team's, half of the field 3 times, and I mean that's what cost them. But that was I was okay with just having one West Coast trip where we didn't show up with the Chargers, but
Right.
to do that after a bye was a little disappointing. So I'm really happy they had a nice bounce back this week. They look good in a lot of areas. Still some concerns, but overall I like how we're playing and I like where we're sitting. So
Yeah. I think one of my other concerns is penalties. I've noticed a lot of penalties this year, and you can say it's because we have a rookie head coach, and that, I think is a fair point to point out. When you're trying to completely shift the culture of a team and bring them back to a winning culture, you definitely have to pick your starting point, and you have to move along at a lot of things. And I think the more they get comfortable with the new offense, and really, they just brought in this defensive scheme last year, so it's a newer defensive scheme. I do think penalties are something they should be looking at next, though. I don't have the stat in front of me on how many yards they've given up on penalties alone this year.
And both sides of the ball too.
Right.
There's a lot of unnecessary penalties. There's a lot of holding penalties. I think Bakhtiari is actually one of the top
Penalized,
offensive linemen in the league. He's got about a dozen holding calls this year, and he's not to pick on Bakhtiari. He's a great tackle, but yeah, on both sides of the ball, and then a lot of yards being given up by a penalty too on the defensive side. So definitely there's some things they can clean up, and there's some things overall on defense, I think they can clean up. We talked about this before we got on air here, and those the last 4 weeks, they've given up yards all season. I think they're 28th. We said in total defense. They've always given up yards this season, but the last 4 weeks it's been a little concerning with some of the big plays that have gone on. So a few things to clean up.
Few things, yeah. But all in all, I'm happy with where they're at right now. Obviously, 9-3. That's a awesome record for a rookie head coach just coming into a new team, setting up a new system. There's a lot that they've been improving on. I think the offense is definitely better than they were at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely.
Obviously the 49ers game was a hiccup there. I don't think they're going to let that happen again. I think the more this offense has gotten used to itself, really, the better they've become. I'm just excited. Looking forward at the next game, we've got another, should be another not too difficult game as long as the team shows up, and then we're like you said earlier, right into all of our conference teams, and looking at the Vikings and the Bears and the Lions to end the season there.
Yeah, I like where we're at offensively. I think each week we're showing a little bit something else that we can do. You see 1 week where Aaron Jones he looks like the best player on the field, and he looks amazing out there. And then the next week, maybe he only has 8 or 10 carries, but Aaron looks like he's clicking with his receivers. And so I think we're seeing maybe not all of it each week, but I think we are seeing progression on offense, and I think that, so much they look so much better than last year on offense.
Yeah.
But they've with a lot of the same guys generally, but this year from game 1 through game 12 now, I think they've continued to improve, and like you said, a new system. The guys are starting to get it, so hopefully they're going to peak at the right time on offense and put it all together come playoff time. And I'm confident. I like the direction we're heading on offense a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And I like the direction that the team is heading. And you look at right now, we're in a competitive NFC North. With the Vikings right now, and the Bears with the win today. I don't know how much that helps them, because they improved to 7-6. But we're really competitive with the Vikings right now, and just the whole NFC, the top is just super competitive. I think earlier we discussed that San Francisco is going to be playing New Orleans, which is a win for our team either way, because it knocks either way a team above us is going to get a loss. So I'm happy that game is going to be played, and I don't see the Packers going on a losing streak anytime soon, so I think we can only get bumped up as games like that get played.
Yeah, most years I think 13-3 gets you right at the top of the field, and they could end up 13-3 or 12-4 somewhere in there, but it's so competitive this year. There's so many really good teams at the top, and I think the Bears winning tonight maybe doesn't help the Bears, but them being really looking much better and more competitive the last few weeks is going to have some effect on this division, because both the Packers and the Vikings have to still face the Bears, so it's going to be interesting. But it's going to be it's nice that one of these teams ahead of us is going to fall back to us, and like I said, I like the direction we're heading. I like the way it's setting up. I'm confident against the division. They're going to be tough games, but I think we're in good shape going down the stretch here, heading to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so too. Also, you look at, we mentioned being competitive in the NFC North, but you look at too, the 49ers just got bumped from first place to fifth place, in the seeding. Yeah, on a day they had off. When the Sea Chickens beat the Vikings on Monday night. So that that's how competitive it is. You can get bumped down the standings by 4 positions even on a night you're not playing.
Yeah, a lot of competition at the top, and man, it's going to be interesting going down the stretch and come playoff time. See, it's going to be coming to Lambeau or where we have to go for the NFC Championship game. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but like I said, I'm confident. I like where we're headed.
Yeah. Yeah, I like where we're headed too. And what do you guys think out there? Are you confident in what the Packers are doing this year? What seed do you think the Packers are going to take in the playoffs this year? Because I think most of us are pretty convinced that they're going to make it. Do you think they're going to get a first round bye or home field advantage? Go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the little bell icon so you get notifications every time I upload new content. Share this video with all your friends. Mark, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Go Pack Go.
And for the Packer Fan Network, I am Mark Schneider.